Hey everybody, welcome back to Building SouthLake. So I'm sorry this video is a day late. I feel like I've been doing this quite a bit and saying it quite a bit, but I will explain why that is later on in the video. So today and last week, I told you that we were working on something big. Now, if you watched the video, I told you that we'd be working on the brand new mall. And that's actually what we're going to try to get started today. So we still have a lot of things we kind of have to figure out how big do we want it to be. So basically I told you last week we kind of made the roads, and I'm sorry if that was boring to some of you viewers. I didn't really tend for it to be boring, but I could definitely see what you guys were saying, because all we did was put slabs. So basically, here's this parking garage that I added. I told you guys that I could use this space for parking garages for the mall, which is what I did, and I actually really like how this turned out, and it's actually looking pretty good. So how about we get started? So this mall is actually based off a mall in real life, and it's called Gateway Shopping Mall, and it is actually not in the U.S. It is actually in South Africa, which is kind of surprised me too, because not because it's not a nice place, but it looked like something that you would find in the States. So now we got to figure out what we want to use for our materials. I'm kind of thinking polished andesite for the stone layout. I think that'd be pretty good. So basically, let's do like a quick rundown of what the mall might look like. So basically, what we're gonna do is the main part of the mall will be a little bit farther back, because we're gonna have a front entrance that will lead in that everybody can walk in. So they're outside still, but then you can walk up into the inside. Now, a couple of theories I have is we're either gonna make it a one-story mall or a two-story mall. One way to do that would be have it go up higher than everything else, or being that we don't have anything underneath us, we could make it to where it's a sunken down in like 2-level mall, if that makes any sense. So like I said, there's literally a lot of things we can really do with this. So we just got to figure out what we want to do, which is the main thing. And so, yeah. Also, if you're wondering why we haven't done a subscriber of the week this week, I will tell you why. And the reason why is because I'm out of room in the stadium. Now, I kept saying, like, every time we did a subscriber of the week, who would it be? And we had put them in the locker room for the stadium. Well, we are actually out of room, but that does not mean I'm going to stop doing subscriber of the week. I just had to figure out how and where to put them. One of the things I came up with, I'm not sure if I've said this in a video already, is the fact that I was going to make a grave, like a, what are those called? A cemetery. That's what they're called. Haha, figured it out myself. And so I was going to make a cemetery and then put everybody's names in that. But that kind of seems, kind of awkward to put your guys' names in a grave like you're dead. Because you're not. I mean, obviously I understand that, it's a video game. But I do want to kind of put you guys on something that, can be respected, can be visited quite a bit. And so, like I said, there's a lot of things that we could really do. Another thought that just popped into my head was when the mall is done, what we can do is also put your names into the stores, and actually make you like own a store, if that makes sense. That's another thought, but that's not going to be done for a while, so I don't want to do that, as of yet. Maybe for future plans we can do that. So there's really a lot of things I'm trying to figure out that we can do with it. Oh, sorry if you guys heard that. My computer mouse has dropped. Give me just a second. Oh, I lost it. There, I found it. Okay. And so, like I said, if you have any ideas for me about doing subscriber of the week, please let me know, because I'm always interested to see what you guys have to say, and your ideas on everything. Because I said, this city is, yes, it is for me, but I also want it to be something that you guys can enjoy watching and can enjoy coming to see for yourself. Because I have so many people, when I come on Minecraft, join in on my world because they want to see it. And I think that's absolutely awesome, because you don't really get that, with too many worlds. And I get so many messages from you guys talking about how much you guys love SouthLake, how much I've inspired you guys to build your own cities. And just, like, hearing you guys say that, just, it's kind of touching to me, because, I think my city's good, but there are definitely better cities out there. And just to hear you guys say, like, how much you love it and it inspired you to build your own cities, I just think that's really cool. So, thank you, all of you, for, watching this series and for making this my most popular, because it is something I still enjoy doing. I still enjoy trying to figure out what can we do next. And that's actually the main part about the cities, that I build, is what I like about them the most, is there's always something else to do. Now, obviously, I do jump around from buildings to buildings every single video. A lot of buildings are not finished, especially on the inside. But as you guys know, a lot of that is because I just enjoy really, just kind of building the exterior. I get the idea laid out, and then I know how much space we have. You can kind of see how everything is going to be laid out before it's finished, if that makes any sense. So it's just one of those things to where it is going to look pretty good. My goodness, how much space do we have left to go? So if you're wondering what this is going to be that walk-in area that the pedestrians or civilians walk into to go shopping. This is going to be the outside part. Now, this isn't going to be all of it because I'm thinking I want to add in some, like parking areas to where people can drop off their kids, if they want to come to the mall. Again, it is a video game, but we are trying to make this as realistic as possible. So really trying to figure out how we really want to get this to work, because there are a lot of things that can go into it. There are a lot of ideas that we can do. It's just trying to figure out how we want to do them, and is it really, reasonable? Because one of the things that, we always run into in Minecraft is the fact that I have so many good ideas, and, some of the pictures I look at, they look really good, and I go, I want to build that. But then you have to think to yourself, like, is it reasonable to build that, or am I just, like, being ambitious about it? Because some things are obviously really hard to build and can take, months to build. Usually I like to kind of finish the outside of the buildings pretty soon. I like to get them started and just kind of work at it from there. So we are looking pretty good. I think the andesite was a good choice for the walk area. The reason I didn't want to use the stone here is because I did want to kind of make it feel different, I didn't want to keep it the same as everything else. And so basically how it's going to be is this will be the walk area. It might even be a little bit longer. And what we want to do is make it to where people can walk in, just like this, going into the mall, just kind of having a good time. And then on the left and right, you have, actual stores. And then up here, you have the main entrance into the main part of the mall, like the big entrance, So that's what I'm kind of thinking. I think it's going to look pretty good when it's done, hopefully. Really hoping it will, at least. So how do we want to get this incorporated, getting the roads connected? Ooh, I just thought about something. I'm happy I just realized this. We never finished this road, so we actually need to save some space for that. So, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need to get rid of these. Happy I realized that before we went any further, with planning everything out. Oh yeah, so I told you guys why a video didn't come out yesterday, and for a pretty good reason. I was in court yesterday. Not for anything that I did. I'll explain. And I'm not a felon. I'm going breaking the law. No, I didn't do anything like that. So basically what happened was, probably like a month or two ago, I told you guys that I got into a car accident in one of my videos. I forgot which one it was. And I think it was a SouthLake video. And so what happened was, everything is fine. My car is fine now. It's taken care of. But I guess the lady that hit me, or I guess I hit her technically, but it was her fault. She didn't want to have to pay her ticket, so she tried fighting it. So I had to go to the court, and there's basically she made it this whole big deal that really didn't need to be, because she just didn't want to pay her ticket, which I understand that because they can be expensive, and I get that. But she was trying to just trying to prove that it wasn't her fault for pulling out in front of me. It was more the fact that it was my fault because I didn't see her, kind of thing. Because even though I did slam on my brakes, her excuse was, well, I didn't see him coming. And that was the only difference between her story and my story, which I thought was actually kind of funny. Now we need some slabs. Where are the slabs? I'm looking for. There they are. So what I want to do is make a little fountain here in the middle. So this is the middle here. So it's even from what it looks like. Is that even? Yeah, it's an even. Okay. So 2, we'll just kind of put those there so we know which ones are which. We'll go 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we'll kind of just drag it out a little bit. And so this will just be a little water feature that, just kind of sprucing things up a little bit. Makes them a little bit more fancy. We actually need to go a little bit farther with this. And there we go. So I know this might seem boring again to some of you that all we're doing is placing blocks, simple stuff. But this is a big part of the mall, and it's going to be a big portion of it. And so obviously this mall is going to take several parts to do, more, probably like 10 parts at max, would be my guess. And I do want you to know that we're not going to be doing this for all 10 parts, like for the next 10 parts or whatnot. We will come off and on to it. But I will assure you that I do want to get them all finished because it is something that I've wanted to get done for a very long time now. So you can hopefully expect to see it somewhat soon being finished because, like I said, I want to get it finished. It's a big part of SouthLake that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So now it's just a matter of time of when can we get it finished, how long will it take to get it finished. So that's a lot of things we kind of have to answer, you know. So we'll put that there. Let's get some water. Water should be right there. There it is. Found it. And we just put the water in here. And so there's actually, like I said, nice little water feature that people can walk around. We might even put some plants in here, things like that, to kind of sprucing things up a little bit as well. So I think that's pretty good. Do we want to stack it up a little bit more? Nah, I think we're good. So now what we can do is we'll put some plants in here. Oh, how are we going to do that? Here, we can do it like this. 1, 2, 3. So like that. And how many blocks do we go away? 1 block away. So we'll do 1, 2, 3 again. And then 1, 2, 1. Oh, that's going to be close. Yeah, that might work. Just doing it somewhat like that, I guess. Might work. Is that even though? So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So I guess it would have to be like this. Yeah, that might work. And then what we can do is we can put in some plants. I really love these new plants, by the way. And also, speaking of new stuff, why don't we use the new, like, I forgot what it's called, like, some weird type of grass. Here it is. The podzol, I think is how you pronounce it. We'll use that instead, because I think that actually makes the plants look a little bit better and kind of makes them a little bit brighter. So we'll put these right there. We'll put the roses here. Now, in the middle, what we will put is, maybe a lilac might be pretty good. There we go. So there's, again, small little features that can, you know, just add up in the long run. So I think that's good for now. We're going to have stores over here. So how about we kind of get started on that? What we can do is kind of probably start a store maybe here might be pretty good. Kind of stack it up. And we want the pillars to be too wide for each, so they're not too thin, but they're also not too thick as well. So I think having it be a 2x2 pillar should be pretty good. Also, we might try to stick with the same colors as the parking garage over there, just because I really love how those two colors combine together, and that's how they look. So we might try to stick with that kind of color scheme. So how big do we want a store to be? I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And that way it's on a even number, or a odd number, excuse me. So just like that. So we'll kind of stack this up. Just like this. And so this part will be 2 stories here, because what we're going to do is have a kind of like a balcony piece. Just like this. Let's count one more. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right there. Boop, boop. Actually worked out kind of perfectly, huh? So just like this. Boop, boop, boop. And also, I do want to try to use some of the new materials that we were given in the last update, because I think those could actually make it look a lot better as well. So now we just got to kind of add the pillars over here. So, you know, like I said, not too much is being done in this part because we're just getting started, kind of setting the foundation for everything. And again, we're still trying to figure some things out, but at least we're kind of starting it finally. So I'm just kind of happy that we're finally getting it, you know, up and going and up on its feet and running. So that should be good. And I was thinking, do I want to try to find a way to connect the parking garage and the mall together, or just kind of leave them separate? Because I think it would be kind of cool to have it to where they would connect to the mall, because that's kind of realistic. But I think we're going to leave those separate over there, and we will build in a actual parking garage into the mall itself, which is also going to be a little bit more realistic. So just like this. Now, how do we want to do this piece? So what I'm thinking maybe is, I'm not really sure how I want to do this, because I want to kind of add like a roundabout here for cars to come in and out to drop off their kids. So, but I also want this to be a little bit longer, so we might extend this out a little bit, because only having 2 stores is kind of pointless. We want more so people have a reason to be outside. So we're going to extend this out pretty far. So as you guys can tell, this mall is going to be pretty big. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the mall is actually one of the few things I really want to do interior on, because a mall is like a big challenge, and I like a challenge for interior. Even though, like, when I'm not good at it, it's still kind of fun to do. So I really want to try to find a way to do the interior for this, because I feel like it would be quite a bit of fun. Also, a lot of you guys are asking me in comments, when are we going to work on the beach? And we probably could work on that in the next couple parts as well, when we're not working on the mall. And so, because I said in a video that I would allow, some people to come onto the server or onto the map and build with me for that, because I will need help with it. And we still are probably going to do that. I'm not sure when, though. So we just got to kind of hold off on that, because I want to get somewhere with the map first to where I enjoy it, and then we can kind of, go from there. Because the beach really isn't in the scope of what I want to do yet, mainly because it's still, pretty far away, and we haven't really expanded that much yet. Once we start expanding this area a little bit more, we actually might start to work on the mall a little bit, but I don't want to just, go jump into it, because that's the biggest project in all honesty, just because of the scale of it's going to be, because we're basically going to have to fill 2 entire maps full of water, and that's not an easy task, so we really just have to try to find a way to, really just take care of it. So it's really going to be a long time before that even gets up and going again. I just kind of started it before, that way I knew where I wanted it and what to expect later on, and that's the only reason why you saw it before. So now we're adding some brick in here. So again, these are going to actually be actual stores. So I think having these 2 pillars should look pretty good with each other. Because usually what I do is like what I did over there with the parking garage. One layer is usually like the bottom, support, and then the rest is one piece. But I think having the 2 separate like this should look pretty good in itself. So put this here. And as you can tell, a lot of people are coming in and joining onto the game. Now, they can't build, but they can just come around and look. And that's mainly what it's for, because I did get a message the other day saying, hey, can we build on your map? And I kept telling the person no, being, generous about it. But he just kept asking, like, well, please. I kept telling him no. And guys, I understand you guys want to build on the map. I understand that, because it is hard to join a map and not do anything. You kind of just get the feeling of, like, why did I join? But the whole point is so you can come on and get your own inspiration. And if you keep asking me to, let you build, it just gets annoying, and it makes me, it's not that I don't like you, but it makes me not want to deal with you as much, because, you're just being annoying. You're not really, getting what I'm saying to you. And if I tell you no, it's for a reason. It's not like I'm just telling you no for a stupid reason. It's just so, I don't want anything to get messed up on this map, being that it is my most popular series. It's the thing I enjoy doing the most on Minecraft. There is a lot at stake here for me personally, that I just don't want to risk yet, if that makes any sense. So, it's not that I don't like you guys, and I've said this several times in videos about why I don't let people build, but I do want to let you know that if you do keep asking me, you will just get on my nerves, and it's just, I'm not going to, really listen to you anymore, and I don't want to get to that point with you guys, Again, not trying to be rude, just trying to be honest with you guys. So actually, I like how this is looking so far. I mean, I like how you look out. There's the parking garage. It looks pretty nice as well. Everything's going to be kind of modern around here, up to date. But we're not going to go like fully modern, We're not going to go with like full snow and like Jon Snow. We're just going to go with a lot of like traditional items, I guess, might be the best way to put it. So we might call it quits for this part. I know we didn't really get too far, but we are getting there. You can kind of see how things are going to shape up in the front here. But again, we still have a long ways to go. Just remember that. And this will, get closer over time. So thank you very much for watching, guys. It is greatly appreciated as always. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Building SouthLake. Or come back tomorrow for another episode, as long as I don't go to court. I don't plan on going to court anytime soon. Thank you, guys.